Just mentioned, high on the president's priority list is definitely immigration. Trump is declaring that national emergency at the U.S. southern border.
Trump's administration says it's the kickoff to his process to end birthright citizenship, but that would take a change to the Constitution. As Fox 13's Alejandro Guzman reports, that has some communities on edge.
It's expected to be a challenge, one that local immigration attorneys are taking with a grain of salt, considering you need both the House and Senate to be on board, which can be very hard to do. But the fear of losing loved ones to immigration policies is now a haunting reality for thousands of migrants here and their families.
I live in fear, but I have hope.
The fear of deportation has been a constant cloud hanging over Dora Poqui's family, especially now under the Trump administration. At 60 years old, she feels the weight of both hers and her husband's legal status. Her family's roots trace back to Mexico, her grandparents traveling as migrant workers when crossing the border was so much easier before settling in Texas, where she was born. Her husband has lived in the U.S. for many years without a legal status.
I get a knot in my throat because I don't know if he's going to go to work and not come home. You know, what's going to happen? They're going to stop him and he's gone.
They've been married for 10 years. Her fears about his undocumented status resurfacing as Trump takes over the Oval Office for a second term.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
When I heard it, it was like tears rolled down my eyes.
Already on day one, the 47th president is signing a flurry of executive orders. One of his biggest and most controversial promises is the push to end birthright citizenship, a right protected by the United States Constitution. The 14th Amendment says,
all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside.
Diane Butler, who has practiced immigration law for over 30 years, says changing the Constitution is an incredibly difficult move. It requires 2/3 of both the House and Senate to approve and 3/4 of the states to ratify. The administration itself can't change the Constitution, not even with Trump's executive powers. Now, there is talk among conservatives who want to discuss the phrase subject to jurisdiction, which typically applies to foreign diplomats.
Ironically, using that phrase would, in a sense, put undocumented parents in the same position as foreign diplomats, except that it's not the same.
According to the immigration lawyer, undocumented people in the U.S. are subject to jurisdiction, meaning they must follow criminal and immigration laws.
To try and reinterpret what has been a bright line, very clear, easy to follow rule seems to me like it would be entirely ineffective.
It seems like they're just weaponizing that one tiny part of the amendment.
I think that's right, yeah. It just feels like using birthright citizenship and limitations as an effort to curtail immigration is like throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Not to mention how costly she says it would be and the thousands of people this would impact if it were retroactive.
To abolish the 14th Amendment, the birth by citizenship on U.S. soil would be a tremendous change to our history and our culture.
The Trump administration has already ended the use of CBP-1, an app allowing migrants to legally enter the U.S. A message confirms all appointments are canceled. With asylum restrictions in place, the border is effectively shut down to asylum seekers.
He's not going to win this. We're going to continue to fight.
Under Trump's first presidency, we saw more than 1,000 changes to immigration regulations and policies, but this action is likely to see immediate legal challenges. Alejandro Guzman, Fox 13 News.